the beautiful, what's the name of the house? A villa? How do you pronounce it? Yeah. And this is, more importantly, this is going to be an incredible den. How long will that take to build the den, do you think? It's
well, Mark, who's building it with them, is away for the next couple of weeks. But
right.
I'd say 2 or 3 more sessions. So
okay.
4 or 5 more hours on it.
Nice. Now, we should say the reason we're here, the Sudbury School, it's been in Ireland for about, well, it's been in existence for about 60 years, but in Ireland you've been here for about 3 years.
Yeah.
The first in Ireland. You've also got Sligo and Clare now, have also got schools.
Yeah.
Incredibly popular. You've got applications right up to 2025, so basically there's a lot more kids than you can handle.
Yeah. And
more importantly, you're going to need a new premises.
Yeah.
Certainly from the end of June. I mean, is there a sense of well, you were telling me before the cameras rolled, you really kind of needed to be in this area.
Yeah, so no further north than Shankill, hopefully, and no further south than Newcastle. Hopefully on public transport routes as well, and a lot of green space around would be really good. And as well, we'd really need either educational zoning or the possibility of getting educational zoning for it. Yeah, so if anybody knows about any properties, or if anybody's interested in the project, like, there's a lot of focus on mental health and well-being in the school, so we're a charity and we're really focused on a cause rather than just kind of standard education, I guess, as well. So if people are interested and want to find out more, we'd really appreciate that. So
I suppose I kind of looked up now in regard to democratic education. According to good old Wikipedia, from about the 1600s they claim there's been one version or another of the idea of democratic education. This particular type, you reckon, about 100 years or so? Or
yeah, so I guess philosophers were kind of theorising about it. John Hume and different people, Ivan Illich, would have been writing about it, but the first actual democratic school was Summerhill, which is about 110 years old now, I think. They celebrated their centenary a couple of years ago.
And where was Summerhill, sorry, is that in...
that's in Devon, as far as
okay, alright, in England somewhere, alright, okay, yeah.
And actually one of our founders had worked there as the English teacher for a while.
Alright.
And then Sudbury is 60 years old. So there's about 300 democratic schools around the world, and growing, and there's about 60 Sudbury schools. Now I
suppose we should explain how it works for people. It's the teachers and the pupils each get one vote, and you make basically the democratic decision on everything you do. So I think it's like you have 11 months holidays, and it's 1 month then of teaching, and you only teach lunch and sleep. But that has a bit... okay, all right. I'm not sure about the voting's working here, I think.
The children are involved in it. They want to be here. I know my daughter's here, and the first thing she does on a Friday evening is ask, okay, how many days until it's Monday? It's a very, very different approach. The children are very involved, and they step up and take responsibility, and they actually enjoy it. They're not being told what to do. They can discuss things, feel it out, work it out, and see what works and what doesn't work. They're responsible.
So your child would rather be in school than be at home with you? And
at the minute, yeah.
Oh, that's good to know.
Staff actually proposed the 11 months holidays, and the students voted.
Right.
It's true though. People come in after Christmas, or it'll be coming up to the holidays, and they'll be going, "Oh God, it's the end of term." I'm not even, like, I swear to God.
So, for those who have never been, and like myself, have had the experience of seeing a class. And seeing how an average day is, I mean, are the subjects generally the same? Are they sort of, I don't know, the fact that children can obviously excel at what they like is a huge plus. But then I'm not sure whether all the class, are sort of still in the traditional kind of subjects, or I don't know how it sort of becomes.
No, I think you have to kind of step away from subjects. The word subjects and classrooms, that's moot here, really, isn't it? It's more about the children finding their own interests. And if you take Finland, for example, that's one of the best national curriculums that they have. And they themselves have moved away from that kind of strict rigidity and standardised testing. They now look at a project work, and that's kind of really what happens here. Project work, but also individuals have the time to do what they want to do. So if Lily, my daughter, wants to practice piano all day, she can.
Right.
And that's okay, because that's what she needs to do right now. And if she wants to do a project, like she's building her own dollhouse out of cardboard, which was very impressive, and no one was more shocked than myself and my husband that she would actually sit down and create this masterpiece. But again, it was her project and her willingness to do it.
And with each new year, does it take a while for rhythms to set in, or is it an kind of an improvised atmosphere anyway, so it doesn't really ever have to so-called settle into an average day? Maybe there's no such thing as an average day.
There definitely isn't. I think there's often a honeymoon period where the pressure's off from traditional school, and you can just take some time to kind of come back to yourself. I've heard students say, "Oh, I don't have to wear a mask anymore. I can just be myself." And then typically people arrive at a place where then they're kind of going, oh, but what do I actually want to do? And they start to feel, oh, and then that's because it's challenging. It's actually a challenging educational experience. So there definitely is a settling in period, because you're learning a skill that some of us never learn, but most of us, if we learn it, we don't get to learn it till we're adults and we're independent. How to manage your time, how to manage your motivation, how to ask for help and request your needs when you need that as well. These are kind of things that when your day is kind of ordered by every 40 minutes and you're told go here, do that all the time, you don't really get the space to be able to motivate and manage yourself. So that it is challenging, even though once people get into the flow of that, which they do, it's hugely rewarding.
Now we should say it's very crucial. I know on the 13th of June you have a performance in the Whale as part of the school, but that's also the month that the lease is up on the house may be sold. So what we're really kind of here today is sort of to appeal to, as has happened in Clare and in Sligo, that a benefactor may step in and hopefully help kind of, continue this good work. I mean, that is the real hope, because I guess as individuals, obviously you can help and volunteer and contribute, but it's really down to, it needs a major kind of input of help.
That's right. I think Greystones has been phenomenal for for helping out and for knowledge of this kind of thing and stepping up and helping the community in a whole. And I'm here again begging and to see if somebody would even guide us to the right area, the right property, as I said, because we don't have a deadline. And it's just, we want to make sure that all children have the opportunity to have the education that's best for them. And standardized education is absolutely fine for some children, but it's not okay for others, and it doesn't suit them. And for my daughter, her experience was destroying her spirit. And now, she's blossoming here. And I think it's important that every child has that opportunity to have an education that suits them.
Right.
And this is why having these schools are critical, and choice is so important. And that's why we're here asking Greystones to help.
See, I gave that anonymous check for 70,000 the last time. I feel it'd be silly of me to do it again. I just feel it'd be silly of me to do it again. It'd be like I'm being boastful really with my wealth. And
just give 60,000.
Well, I just feel it'll be just be boastful. The people would start thinking he's big-headed now. He's giving out all this money all the time.
Absolutely.
Just to say though, we do actually, every little does help. So we appreciate any way that people can help. If they have information or contacts, if you want to.
Well, I'll put in your contacts here, and
go to our website, which is sudburyschool.com, and we have a GoFundMe there.
Great. I'll link that in the text above and make sure people can go directly to it. So I guess ultimately, and I am fascinated by the school, and it does seem the way the wind is blowing in Ireland and all around the world, that people are much more open to the idea that you can, I don't know if the word relax is right, but just the idea that education shouldn't be a frightening alien kind of world, that it should be part of your life and should be part of a good experience that you actually enjoy.
And we do have to think that the world is changing. So the education system changes slowly, but the world itself is changing very fast, and these children need to be able to access an education that suits them for 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line, 20 years down the line. And with the best will in the world, like everybody knows, the education system needs to be amended, and there's been certain steps in that direction. It is going to take a while, and they're doing the best that they can, but in the meantime certain children are slipping through the cracks, and it just doesn't give them the experience that they need for them to blossom, really,
I suppose ultimately it is for kids who find Educate Together a bit too fascist, really, because if you think about it, they are very strict, those guys, and they pretend there's a lot of hemp oils and all that, but really
it wouldn't be my favourite politics, but kids are actually free to believe in fascism here. Probably be challenged on that.
Alright, okay, well I could start some sort of riot here. Maybe I should shut that down.